guys, Jesse Rich here, another nutrition video. I'm going to be talking about sports gels today. So I recently finished a race Saturday. Today is Wednesday, so still kind of recovering. I wasn't able to get a hold of my favorite gels, which are Spring. I am not sponsored by them, but I will say they have been my favorite so far. So I picked up some other gels just to try out and see what they would be like. I have tried these other gels in training, so I already knew that they work for me to a certain extent. So that's definitely what I recommend, is if you're going to try a gel, be sure to try them in training before a race. But it really took me a while to figure out what gel worked for me. I had a lot of issues identifying the right gel for me. I want to preface this by saying what I think about a gel isn't what's going to work for you, but I do think that there are certain characteristics of a gel that work for the majority of the people, and I think that's why Spring is the best gel out there right now because of its profile, and I'll get into that. But there are other gels that do compare, and I do think that they will work and perhaps work better for you. Again, this is my opinion, and you can try out these gels for yourself and see what you think. So let's go over a few of them. First, I finished all my gels, these Maurten gels. So I have an empty one here. This is what the packet looks like, right? Really simple. It's 100 calories, simple ingredients: water, glucose, fructose, calcium carbonate, gluconic acid, and sodium alginate. So really simple, basically water, simple sugars, a little bit of electrolytes, and the sodium alginate is actually kind of to coagulate the sugars, so it almost gives it kind of more of a gel texture instead of just liquid. It tastes good, it's sweet, but it's hard to keep putting this down every 30 to 45 minutes. I had a hard time, I bought about 4 of these for the race, and I was about done with them, about 3 in a row. So there's that. I think it's great because this gel is used by the top marathoners in the world. So there's something to be said for that. It has a lot of immediate sugars, carbohydrates to easily assimilate into the body and give you energy. But again, it's really sweet, so I don't know how much I can tolerate that for a long period of time. So Muir Energy, I was trying these for a while, and my only qualm with Muir Energy is the consistency. It's just a little too thick for me. It's almost like a paste, and for me that's a little bit much. It takes a while to be able to swallow. It's almost like you have to chew it a little bit. But it's simple, right? There's simple ingredients. It's red raspberry, raw coconut, palm nectar, blackstrap molasses, and pink Himalayan salt. So really simple. I like this flavor. Again, I completely like the fact that it's whole ingredients, but for me the consistency is just a little bit much. It's hard to put down, especially if you don't have water. If you are in between aid stations and you don't have much liquid, this is a tough one. They have a lot of awesome flavors though. I only was trying this one. I've tried a lot of their other ones in the past, and again, they're all pretty tasty. There's some that have a little bit more fat, cashew, really interesting. They have one, I believe, that has rosemary in it. But anyway, great gel, really clean, but just a little bit too thick for me. Untapped, this one was a go-to for me for a while. It's just maple syrup. It's all it is, and it's 100 calories per gel. And it's got a lot of sugars, and it's got some minerals too, the natural minerals that come in maple syrup. When we hear maple syrup, we just think it's sugar, but maple syrup actually comes with quite a few natural antioxidants and minerals. So it's kind of nice to know that you're getting a bit of that. It has calcium, riboflavin, zinc, thiamine, magnesium, and manganese, all just in the maple syrup, nothing added. So really good supply of immediate carbs, but again, it's really sweet. It's maple syrup. I can't put tons of these down, especially over distances over 50 miles, right? I'm gonna get really sick of that. Goo. So this is my least favorite. Sorry, Goo. the nice thing about goo is you can see how small it is. It's tiny. So this is 100 calories. You can fit a lot more of these in your pockets than you could with the other ones. But the ingredients, I mean, the first thing is maltodextrin, right, which is a processed corn. And again, maltodextrin itself doesn't actually have much flavor, but it's just such a spike to your insulin that you can crash pretty fast after having a bunch of goos. The consistency, it's not quite as thick as the Muir Energy, but it's pretty thick also. Water, fructose, leucine, natural flavor, citric acid, sodium citrate, potassium citrate, calcium carbonate, valine, sea salt, green tea extract, malic acid, gelatin gum, sunflower oil, sodium benzoate, and potassium sorbate. And those last two are basically just preservatives. So it's kind of just, you've got some electrolytes in there, you've got some caffeine, but really there's really no use in having protein in a gel like this. Because science has shown that proteins in gels is kind of useless until you're done working out. So they've had tons of different flavors. Goo is really successful, really surprising to me because I was on to goo for a while, and I just over and over again, the osmolality of your bloodstream, it just becomes so thick with these sugars that you kind of get something called gut rot. A lot of people experience, and it's hard to get away from that. Once your stomach goes south, getting back and recovering can be hard. So if you're just continuously eating this, probably going to be making some pit stops. Some people can tolerate just fine. Good for them. For me, that's too much, right? Last but not least, definitely not least, again, this is my favorite gel right here. I don't know if I mentioned that actually, but Spring Energy. These have come out within the last couple years. And, I think Sage Canaday was the one who brought my attention to this gel. Really clean ingredients. This one is the McRovery from Sally McRae, I believe, created this. Again, it's more of like a recovery gel. This isn't my favorite flavor. I like the canterbury that Sage Canaday helped create, but organic basmati rice, organic banana, organic pea protein, cherries, organic coconut oil, almonds, walnuts, cassava, maple syrup, dried cherries, non-GMO lecithin for some fat, organic lemon juice, cacao, sea salt, vitamin C, citric acid. So, only whole foods are in there. The lecithin, I guess, an oil you couldn't consider a whole food. But it's nice to have a little fat for like the longer distances. They also have a gel called Long Haul that is, it has peanut butter in there and it has some healthy fats. The consistency is perfect. It's not too thick. It's not too watery. And again, you don't get that crazy spike. You get nice consistent energy from it. And there's so many. I used Huma for a while, which is kind of just fruit and chia seeds, and there's so many gels out there, but that's my take on these ones that I'm reviewing today. Again, I think Spring Energy is the most effective gel for me as far as containing consistent energy over a period of time. The goo just makes me bonk and rely on it every so often, and I'm going to take some breaks. But, when you're looking at weight and you're looking at packing things, obviously the goo, you look at a Spring, and this one has 150, but most of them are just 100. You're going to be able to carry a lot more of these. So if you can tolerate it, that's great. But again, if you want kind of sustained energy, and in my opinion, the Whole Foods will give you that, then the Spring Energy is the way to go. We can kind of talk about timing and, eating during a race in another episode, another video. But for now, that's my take on these gels. I hope it helps. Again, it's really hard to figure it out. It takes time. Try them all out. Don't just go with one. Don't take my word for it. If you're having digestive issues and you're confused why, it's probably the gel. That's the first thing to look at. What are you eating when you're running? What are you eating before? What's your diet like the week leading up to the race? What's your diet like the year leading up to the race? All those things matter. and they're good to consider that. For me, the ingredient I learned I needed to avoid is maltodextrin. That's the one that really spikes my blood sugars, tends to throw off the osmolality in my bloodstream, and I just feel sick. So, I would suggest maybe, looking for that ingredient, trying to get it out of your supplies, and see what happens. So thanks for tuning in, and I will be making another video soon. Thanks so much.